Hey guys, this is IntroducingEmy and we're back with another Redline Tuesday. This one was sent to me by, I believe, somebody named Billy, but I don't know if that's their real name because there was no other information with the email. It just said, here is a drawing. So we are going to redline this drawing. And sorry for the video being late. I will say right now that one, I've been away for a little bit. My book has gotten into some bookstores and I've gone to some cons and done some panels and things, so I haven't been around to do videos. Just haven't had the time to dedicate to it. And also, I've been having some major computer issues in the last week here. I'm having these weird, like, random crashes when I have Photoshop or other sort of RAM and CPU taxing programs open. I don't know what that's all about. What's the size on this? Too small for Emmy. Okay, make it a little bigger here. But I'm still gonna go back out. So I actually was kind of confused here when I first started. I thought that this leg was crossed over. Like, I thought this leg was the other leg. Because of the way this wrinkle is here, it sort of gives the impression of like a leg crossing over. But the big toe is on the inside, so this must be this person's left leg. All right. So, oh, this is awkward for me. I'm like working against my perception of where this leg is. Also, I should say that this foot was cut off and this part of the outfit was cut off. I'm gonna go a little light here until I feel like I've gotten this a little more where I want it. As always, this is my first drawing of the day, and this is going to be kind of a rough red line. I'm still waking up, still getting used to recording again. Still nervous that my computer could crash at any second. Oh, my poor computer. Kind of taking a bite out of her over here. I actually, I have a commission I need to work on, but I'm kind of considering about doing it on camera. They didn't pay for me to do it on camera, and maybe I should ask their permission. I don't know. It's my art. I can do whatever I want now. I don't like to record other people's things that they've paid for unless they want me to. So, I don't know. We'll see. I might do that. That might be something you'll see coming up here. I don't know how much of it I'll record, but by the way, this, I need to stitch this foot up onto this ankle. She's bending her leg up a little bit, so this should actually be up a little higher because it should be more like right there, but I will do that here in a minute. Just gonna rough this out a little more. Go up here. Alright, and that's a force of habit for me, sorry. I do this thing where I like put like a neck shadow. It's a force of habit. It does not add or negate to your drawing style. It's just something I do. Habit forming. So her head is a little teeny. I'm just going to higher here. Just make this the same kind of color. Oops. And you know what? No, I do not give you permission to do that. I think that it is too tight of a pose to have her arm, like, it's kind of bunched up in an unnatural way. I would recommend doing something more like maybe with her hand going back, like that. I'm just kind of roughing it in. Something. I know that looks terrible, but I will come back to it. Okay, and then I'm gonna go over her head. And then I will stitch it on at the size that I feel is more appropriate. As always. Don't feel like you have to comply with anything that I say. At the end of the day, your perception of your own art is your reality, and you need to stick to your guns on what you feel is right for you and your work. I can only come in and give advice. I had a person recently, they went back to some of my older videos, especially like in my older videos, this is definitely true. I was a lot less like demanding. I still don't feel like I'm a very demanding critiquer. Like, I'm not like saying you must do, you must comply, but they were kind of giving me some guff about it, and I mean, like, at the end of the day, I can't I feel like I might have addressed this in another video, so I apologize if I'm repeating, but at the end of the day, I can't make you guys do anything. But I can try to give you some tips, maybe give you a new perspective. So one thing that I recommend is even when you're doing kind of like anime characters, There's this like kind of thing I see going around, especially with young people who are just getting into sort of anime drawing, is I don't feel like there's like a lot of underlying sketching that's going on, especially on the faces. Um, and I know anime faces can appear like somewhat minimalized or like simplistic, like there's this very like smooth structure to them, but trust me, for that kind of structure there's like a lot of underlying anatomy and sketching that's going on. Like a lot of the anime bigwigs have been really successful who have like really simplified faces. Like if what's his name, he did Lane and he did Hamane Renmei. He sort of started this whole like moe minimalized look to the characters, and trust me, that man knows his stuff. So what I recommend doing is doing kind of like an eye socket and then putting your eyeball in there and then drawing your anime-fied lids over top of them. And then you dare put a lid on top if you'd like. There's some people don't like doing that, but you can put like a little indication of a lid there. And maybe like a little corner lash or sort of pseudo lash tear duct sort of thing. So same sort of principle over here. Sort of trying to gauge where the bridge of the nose would be. Man, I have like... Can I get a little off topic in my own video? Like sometimes I get kind of like these cravings for different activities. Like sometimes I crave, by the way, I don't like this eyelash, I'm gonna erase it. Sometimes I crave like a video game or something. It's the weirdest feeling. I've been craving me some Batman games, but I'm really bad at them. So I'm gonna do a little cheaty method here to try to get this lash a little more. I'm sort of debating like how I should do this. Should I like try to maybe something like that? See, I'm not familiar with this character or this method of drawing lashes, so I'm trying to figure out a way to get it into the get it close. I'm terrible at like freehanding eyeballs and circles. Circles. Sorry, I don't know what came over me there. So I usually use the different like warping and perspective tools and stuff to try to get it to more closely match my ideas. And then, oh god, every time I hear my computer make any little sound, I'm like, please don't pass out. Don't go yet, computer. We're not done here. We're not done with our work. Okay, so something like that. It's not the greatest so far as, I don't know, my anime eyes. They need some work. And let's, made about 300 layers there just now. Let's do some hair. Make sure that you don't indent too far. Because that will not end well for you, though. Maybe her head's a little big. I don't know. I'm trying to like have it take up some of where all this hair is, but maybe do something like that. Make the skull a little smaller there. Okay, and then we'll let's have this be like the hair growth area so that we don't just have like random spikes. So let's grow from there. Try to make sure that all of our large bangs follow something of a formula back to the not sure what you call that, like the rosette in the back of your head. You know, like where your hair like kind of naturally cascades back to or like parts from. I'm sure it has like a technical name, but I'm not a hair person, so I don't know what you would call it, but it's good to like know that these shapes have like their own anatomy behind them, their own structure. And also their own sort of like composition in a way. Like you want like these curves and these spikes of hair to be like balanced and tidy and like solid. Like this feels really good. That feels good to draw, good to look at and stuff, whereas like these feel a little like uneven or unsure of themselves. Yeah, I think that's looking good. This one you could go a little smaller. Okay, and then we're gonna do ponytail. Let's not really have it go any higher than like the peak of the bang. And we're gonna have to build this. By the way, again, if this is like some character that I I'm drawing like a fan art. That sounded weird the way I said that, like a fan art, like a yeah, like a pre-established character, not an original character, and I'm totally doing like the weirdest drawing of them ever. I apologize. I'm just kind of going from what I got here. I would recommend doing this same shape over here. Kind of debating changing this whole ponytail shape. Oh heck, why don't we? Why don't we? I wanted to feel like the front of the hair. Feels a little bit like a fox's tail or something, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Fox's tails are well-designed things. Let me lighten this up a little bit and I'll go over it. So there we go. We've kind of... let me turn up my line correction. Sorry. It's too early in the morning to not have it higher, I guess. There, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and then I'm not even gonna look at the original. I'm just gonna try to like eyeball this on. So I'm not sure if this will give you some perspective, but her head is about the size of, like, at least her face is about the size of one of her boobs. Yeah, her head looks really small even compared to like her feet. So I would maybe... She's an anime character too, and they can kind of afford to have bigger heads. I actually don't even think that's like colossal or anything. That's pretty noticeable though. That her head is quite a bit bigger now. Alright, I'm gonna go over the body real quick too. And if I have time, I'll try to go over the outfit a little bit because there's a few things on there that I wanted to go over. Oof, that one eye, man. No, Emmy, no. Let it be, Emmy. You can't fix the world. But I'll try. I always want to fix everything. I want everything to be neat and tidy and as good as it can be. But sometimes you just have to step away and be like, this is enough. You're good, kid. That'll do, pig. Wait, I don't think he was Irish, was he? I'm thinking of Shrek. So let me go over it from this angle now. Let's put a little sway in her neck area here. By the way, I should mention this sort of method that I'm doing right now, this is much closer to how I would do a drawing from scratch. Like I would sort of block it out like this, like block out all the anatomy, and then I would come in and do like go over it and refine it more and more. And I might even, you know, from there then I would go ink it. So this is like a lot closer to how I would build up my work than a lot of times what I do for Redline Tuesdays. I tend to kind of do a contour drawing over the drawings that you guys send me, and then I worry sometimes it gives the wrong impression about how to like build your drawing up from scratch. Like these boobs feel weird to me. Yeah, I definitely think this one's like a little high. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Boob and boob placement are important. But yeah, as I was saying, sometimes I worry that the way I go about doing my red lines kind of gives people the wrong impression about how they should be done, or how they should be building up their drawings from scratch. And that I guess I kind of liken it to doing like if you're a teacher and like somebody hands in their essay for you to check, and you take out your red pen and you go over their essay and you know, you mark it all up and stuff. Well, that's not how to write an essay. That's how to do corrections on an essay, you know. So I worry that people are thinking that when I'm looking over their essays, their art essays, that my marking it up in red is like how they should start their essay from the beginning, so to speak, rather than just applying some of the corrections that I'm making. I hope my metaphor didn't like get totally off the tracks there. It still is kind of like an awkward pose. I'm just not feeling it, especially with the shoulder being up like that. knock that shoulder down. Now, just an FYI, a lot of times when I do sketches and I'm sort of like roughing things out, I have this bad habit of like kind of drawing all the characters' limbs down to a point. I don't know why I do that, but like a lot of times, like if I'm like roughing out poses, I'll do a guy just as an example. So if I'm like roughing out poses, I kind of do this sort of nonsense, and like their hands just like come to these points, and I have a bad habit of doing the feet kind of like weird kangaroo limbs a little bit. So like even when I'm refining my sketches, I tend to overextend the wrists down to like, this is too long. I mean, this is like way too long. I'll have to go in there and fix that up. But yeah, just an FYI, that is a habit of mine, and I don't want anybody to be like, oh, I need to do that. I need to make all my feet and wrists go out into weird little bunny points. So just letting you know, something to be aware of. Yes, that was overextended. Horse. Okay, there we go. I was like, where is that drawing? Alright, so again, I'm going to kind of, like I did with the face, I'm going to go over the feet real quick and then put them back up to where I feel they should be. And there's my doggy getting a drink in the background. Getting that sweet, sweet waters, huh, dog? Okay, stop! No. Slurp, slurp, slurp in the background. I apologize. Oh, having a good shake, too. I don't know if you heard that. She just shook off. And back to her bed. She's a good dog. That dog's a good dog. So she's wearing, like, traditional Japanese, sandals. I do not know what they are called. I just know that I have tried to wear them and I find them extremely uncomfortable. But I don't like anything that goes between my toes. So even like American sandals that have that little thing. Ugh, don't like that. I have a little deformed feet though, so that kind of makes sense. Not like super deformed, just I have weird little crinkly toes, like the nails are like bent in funny into my feet. I don't know where that comes from. Like, I mean, I know where it comes from, my family and my genetic. I don't know. I'm getting off on a weird tangent here. Sorry. Okay. So, big toe, index toe, middle toe, maybe. Here we go. Ring toe, pinky toe. And then I think these sandals are supposed to have those blocks on the bottom. I don't think they're supposed to be like the flat kind. I will attempt to not be terrible at drawing these. Okay, so something like that. Oh, you know what else I don't like? Those socks that like are individually toed. Like, you know what I mean? Like the socks that have like an individual sleeve for every toe. Blah, 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 blah. I don't like them. They just feel funny. I don't like the look doesn't bother me. They feel strange. I don't know. I'm picky though. Let me get our eraser out and I forget what they call that when your index toe is like longer than all your others. It has like a special name. Okay. Just gonna put a little shadow on there. Yeah, I won't do that other one. Anyway, okay, let's compare some sizes and get this up to where we need it to be. Let me go way back out. Turn everything back on. So what I'm looking for here is just to make sure the foot itself, ignore the big honkin' shoe attached to it, but just to make sure the foot itself is like not too much bigger than the head or anything weird like that, and then we'll just put it where we want it, which is right about here. A little higher up than where this one is going to be because, again, this leg is slightly bent. Something like that. Very, very cute. And I'm actually going to turn my paper here. Just to make it a little easier on my wrist to do some of these longer lines. So, one thing I did there that I guess I should explain is I did these, well, I'm now erasing them, but I did these kind of like lines, and I guess that would be the, is that the femur? Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. So, a lot of times when I draw the knee, I do like a little line for like a shadow, like the lump underneath the knee. But what that also is like the top of the bone connecting, and then you get your bone going down through, and then you get your muscles holding on to that, and then you get your foot. So something like that, okay? And just to make sure that like I've got everything going straight, I'll do like this kind of a shape sometimes to make sure that it's still looking like the bee's knees. Oh, that's a funny joke. Okay. Just making sure these calves are about the same size. I have a bad habit of either overdrawing or underdrawing, but I tend to overdraw sizes. I tend to go bigger and not more subtle. Like some people draw really small, I draw really big. And I've never, I guess it's like a really common problem actually, is the opposite of that. People draw too small or kind of like underdraw everything. I've never had that problem. I was always like, for my professors in college, I was always getting critiqued as drawing too big or too long, too tall, which is kind of, I guess, unusual. It's usually the other way around. Maybe it says something about my personality. Go big or go home. Maybe I'm secretly from Texas. I'm not. Okay, and then we'll do the sandal. And I recommend man, I can't draw a straight line today to save my life, I tell you what. I recommend thickening up this front edge, even if you can't technically see that far, like from this perspective or something. Depending on what you're drawing. If you're trying to imply that one side is more visible than the other, making these lines thinner and these ones thicker will help sort of create that illusion. Also, don't draw fused toes, like, or fused fingers. This has been like a thing that it was more of a trend like some years ago now in drawing, but like a lot of folks would do these kind of like mitten hands almost, and then but hopefully it's not super short thumbs, and then like just do like the most subtlest of indication that there were fingers there, and then they wouldn't like draw anymore. Same thing with feet, and unless you're drawing a character with like fused fingers or toes, I really wouldn't recommend doing that. Sometimes in animation, you see it in like single frames because they're trying to like save time, and just not draw like every single, finger. Like, I'm watching Cardcaptor Sakura right now, and a lot of times when characters, like, put their hands up to their faces, especially, like, the kids, their fingers kind of disappear individually because it makes it look cuter and smaller and whatnot. But in a still image, you should still strive to draw those individual fingers because, one, they're going to improve your art, And people love fingers. They'll just see them. They want to touch them. Yeah. So try, even if you're not good at it, try to draw individual fingers and toes. It'll help you out in the long run. Emmy knows best. Do what Emmy says. Alright. I'm actually going to pause the video real quick, make sure everything's rendering fine, and then we'll come back and do this arm and the clothes, and we'll be done. Alright, BRB. Okay, and we're back, and I know that originally I said, no, you do not get this, but after making the arm a little longer, I'll allow it again. I'm coming back in. I'm giving you permission here. Let me kind of re-sketch this out. I think I was confused at what you were going for, and so I was like gonna take away your bent arm card, and you were not going to have permission. But I'm giving it back. I'm trying to be nice. By the way, I'm sorry if this like is distracting. I keep looking at it like, what was that? What's going on there? I feel like I wouldn't be doing my anatomian duties if I didn't draw proper crotches. I remember I was listening to a Chinese illustrator. He works for Disney, and I think he might have even moved on to DreamWorks. He came to our school and gave like a little shtick on well, not shtick, but it wasn't like a dance, but he gave like a little presentation about character design and the importance of strong character design and all that. And one of the things he brought up was that you know, just by the nature of Disney being the company it is, they didn't want genitals on any of the animals. And like when he would look at my shitty horse. When he would draw horses, because it was specifically, I think one of the films he was brought in on as a lead designer was Mulan, and when he would draw the designs of the horses, when he would go back, he would just naturally put like a bump in for where, you know, look at those awful horse legs, for where their like genitals were, and they would always like erase them or whatever, because that, you know, it's Disney. No genitals. And he said, but that was so unnatural for him because it's like, that's what goes there. You know, it'd be like drawing a woman without any sort of breasts or curves, you know what I mean? Or like a, same thing with like men. Like when you draw like their tummy region, it's only natural to put like a little bump for like where their penis would be. Even if you're not like going into like, you know, crazy detail or anything. So yeah, I just thought that was like an interesting little aside that I thought you guys might find interesting. Okay. Actually, it does feel a little strange there, but yeah, I don't think it's that bad. Anyway, let's do the outfit now. I need to put in a disclaimer and say that I am not. Should I just get rid of that under sketch? I mean, I'll turn it off for now. I won't get rid of it though. Okay. I will come in and say that I am not by any means an expert on, you hear me scratching my head, on like Asian fashion by any means. I did a drawing a while ago of some of my characters wearing kimonos, like a long time ago, like in 2009 or something, and I got so much shit about how badly drawn the kimonos were. But I don't know, I never even thought to look up references. But I will try to impart some little bit of my knowledge and at least give you a more sound structure to your outfit. Let me flatten out this boob here. She's wearing a bra. I don't know if you were trying to draw a kimono or like just a dressing gown with some kind of like a sash or an obi around the middle, but I will try to do some hybrid because I'm not looking up a reference for this. I have to get it done and I don't have a whole lot of time to be doing all the things, but I'll try to make it nice. So one thing that totally threw me off when I first looked at this drawing is that there is no drawing. That is that the sash folds over here, but then it's like, and it comes out over here. So that's like where the other side is. And then all that creates this sort of backwards leg look that I was confused about. So if you want it to be sort of flowing and open, which I don't, this is what makes me think it's supposed to be like a dressing gown as opposed to a kimono, because a kimono is usually so tightly wrapped that it wouldn't be as open as this, but I don't know. We're just gonna go with it. Maybe some hybrid thing or some other Asian outfit that I don't know about, but you'd want this opening, this flap, to be like coming from this direction, since that's where you have it. And then, since that's where you have it folded over, and then let's do like a figure 8 kind of a thing. So again, this is like these lines. These are like the invisible understructure kind of area. Actually, I don't even need that line. And then this is the inside, like that. So kimono sleeves, I thought more like long, like rectangles, sort of like that, maybe. I feel like I'm doing this all wrong, and somebody's gonna come in and be like, no, no, no. Again, not an expert, but just trying to give you some semblance of structure and interest here. Let's do something like that. And yeah. that looks good. Oops. So this is sort of in the ballpark of what I recommend. I hope that this will, help you out some here. I really like these feet. I don't know. They're good feet. Yeah. I think we made something real fancy and pretty. Oops, too close. How do I go back? There we go. And I actually didn't need all this space after all. I thought I would, and I didn't. I didn't even need all that space. I kind of tend to overcrop these drawings. So let's do a little compare and contrast. I think we've uncrossed the legs. We've sort of pushed the shoulders down a little bit, sort of made the pose a little more natural. Definitely made that head bigger. So yeah, let's try this out for size here. Let me know what you think. I hope that that will get you a little closer to your dream, your artsy dream. And yeah, as always, keep sending your drawings in for Redline Tuesday to emmy.bittner@introducingemy.com with the subject Redline Tuesday. And I'll do it when I do it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!